When I was a kid, my brother and I used to play a lot of fighting games. These supposedly friendly games usually turned into real-life sibling fights if one of us gets pissed from a losing streak and one of us gets cocky for winning too much. I'm sure as hell that there's one time when my mother needed to tell my older brother to let me win just to stop these petty fights. And my brother probably listened because it's just a game after all. Losing won't literally crush your guts or break your bones. If there's one specific thing about most of these fighter games, they feature bloodless violence. Then there's Mortal Kombat, where every fighter has a unique way of violently killing their enemies. And when I say violent, I mean guts are spilling over the battle arena, flesh separating from the bone, eyeballs popping up, and victors bathing themselves with their foes' blood. These are called fatalities. Each fatality is conceptualized carefully to fit each character. Take this Johnny Cage's fatality for example. For all we know, Johnny Cage is a Hollywood actor in the Mortal Kombat universe. And that explains the meta self-aware humor of his fatality. For a fighting game where characters kill one another mercilessly, the way he finishes his foes says a lot about his story and applies to other characters. It is incredible how a video game could execute well characterization in 15 seconds or less. This made me, and of course other fans, crave to see a more extended version of such world building and gore fest in the form of a movie perhaps. And so this year, naturally the big studios listened, but they only heard the gore thinging, not our demand for a good story. The latest remake and film adaptation of Mortal Kombat released in 2021 is downright disappointing and disrespectful for gamers and film enthusiasts. Mortal Kombat, yes, without any subtitles, was the directorial debut of Simon McQuoid. It is available for streaming on HBO Max, and it spans a total of 110 minutes that you might want to take back after watching, wishing you've played the actual Mortal Kombat instead. But to be fair, the film featured elements that could count as its redeemingly quality, like the suspenseful opening sequence, the fight between Hanzo Hasashi and Bi-Han, and Kano, the only character in comedic relief in the film who speaks like an actual human being.
Oh, hello, sunshine. Who are you?
It's Kano.
Kano what?
Kano, none of your fucking business.
I'd give the right amount of credit for Kano for being the most badass character too. Yes, this film is so stale. A supporting character is more badass than the protagonist.
Arms dealer, drug runner, murder for hire, scum of the earth.
The opening fight scene raises the audience expectations so much. It sets us up for more well-choreographed and thrilling fight scenes. Before the fight erupts, Bi-Han looked for Hanzo, but he found Hanzo's wife and son instead. He talks to them in Chinese and quickly shifted to Japanese the moment he realized that he wasn't being understood.
他不在。한조 누구다?
And right after he defeated Hanzo, he says this. The dude starts to speak in English all of a sudden. Don't get me wrong, it's not like I assume that he cannot speak English though. But this dude initially used Chinese when he's aware he's in Japan, even though he can speak in Japanese as well. Then now, and for the rest of the film, he speaks English? Shit was racially ambiguous as hell. Later on, he would say that he changed his name.
I am no longer Bi-Han. I am Sub-Zero.
Of course, being someone who played Mortal Kombat for years, I know that he is Sub-Zero. But why the hell did he change his name? What was his motivation? And how did Zhang Chong did not know of this change? Haven't they often see each other? If Sub-Zero is one of Zhang Chong's champions, he must have trained them too, in the same manner that Raiden trained his champions at his temple. So how does he not know about Sub-Zero's name change? These small details create big plot holes that hinder the audience's immersion, especially the solid Mortal Kombat fans. The protagonist, Cole Young, isn't gripping at all. He was a mediocre MMA fighter who possessed a distinct birthmark, which indicates he was chosen to fight the Mortal Kombat tournament. Aside from having a wife and daughter, nothing else made him interesting. It's like most of the characters are wooden dummies that move along the plot conveniently. Later, we would know that Cole was a distant descendant of Hanzo, yet Raiden dryly and conveniently explained this.
You're a descendant of one of the greatest ninjas to ever walk the earth, Hanzo Hasashi.
This is a piece of information that an average audience might have already thought of before even revealed. Cole does not know about this at first, but it did not feel gratifying or rewarding both for him or for the audience when he found out about it. Cole did nothing to find out about it. He just failed his training. And now, Raiden expects him to be great, just because of something he did not know for the rest of his life? Heck, he didn't even know about the tournament. Revelations like this should feel earned. Raiden proceeds on talking about Hanzo, seeking revenge from Hell. This pisses me off even more because Hanzo's revenge could be a whole story arc worthy of showing. But it is only conveniently told. And speaking of convenience, the characters just pop out of nowhere to fight along with Cole. This happens twice in the final sequence of the film. Sonya, after defeating Kano and acquiring her power, randomly appeared to save Cole from Mileena.
Get over here!
And Hanzo, Mother effin' Hasashi, magically rose from hell to kick Sub-Zero's freezing ass right before he almost takes down Cole. And the dude speaks English as well. Well, only at first. He starts speaking Japanese when he conveniently explains to Sub-Zero and the audience how and why he managed to get back to Earth. And just like Sub-Zero, he offered no explanation or motivation for changing his name. I know, gamers already know that Hanzo turns into Scorpion. But if you're an audience who knows nothing about the game, these details will come off as ambiguous to you. It's as if the film is solely intended for the people who have played Mortal Kombat before. And it expects us to be amazed by showing us what we have seen before? I am for film adaptations that stay true to their source material. However, I'm against a film adaptation that did not add an exciting spin to its story. It's frustrating to see no actual Mortal Kombat tournament in this Mortal Kombat film. But it sets us up for a sequel instead, where the real tournament would probably happen. I see no problem with films that focuses on the lore's origin. But Mortal Kombat executed the story poorly. Instead of fleshing out the lore through its scenes, it is lazily and vaguely explained by Sonya.
Different cultures all over the world, they reference a great tournament as Mortal Kombat.
The film tells us many things they did not show. Then it expects us to get excited about a sequel? It is a manipulative way to excite an audience for a franchise. Instead of exciting the audience for what will happen, they left us with so many questions and plot holes we expect them to solve in the next films. It's not that we wait for what's next because it's good. Instead, we hope that they do the franchise some justice next time. Because if they don't, our nostalgia would just be destroyed. After watching Mortal Kombat, I picked up my gaming console to play the game Mortal Kombat. Because if anything else, the film reminded me of how good the game was, and the game made me forget the terrible movie I saw. So, what do you say? Gamers, unite! If you love these videos, give us a like and consider subscribing to the channel. And if you have any thoughts and suggestions, feel free to comment down below. As always, this is Flick and Chips.